Joining us again, our friend who's been blogging for us as of late, no longer receiving checks from the unemployment office, Mr. Jay Richardson. Jay, thanks for joining us on footballnewsnow.com.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been a big day for you, has it not?
Yeah, it's definitely been a blessing of a day today. It's been a long day, but a very good day. As of around 9:30 this morning, I became a Seattle Seahawks. So it was a bit unexpected actually. When I got the call on Tuesday. Of all the teams, it's one of those teams I just didn't think that they'd be the ones calling me. It was funny, and I just took it off, came up here. Honestly, didn't really bring much with me. I wasn't really sure if they needed me now, if they were going to work me out and give me a call later. Or, I really didn't know what the deal was, so I just kind of packed a small bag, a couple t-shirts, a pair of shorts, and then some underwear, and one pair of socks, and took off for the workout. Got up here, the workout ended up going better than expected, I guess, and then they, were ready to sign me that day. So, next morning we got things worked out and went right to the practice field. So it's been a long day.
Wow. What have your impressions of the organization been so far? I mean, granted, you've been there less than 24 hours at this point, but, your first day on the job.
I tell you what, first impressions, meaning everything, it was amazing. Everything from the facilities to the way they treated me, to the way the coaches handled things, to the way that, their front office handled, the signing and everything. I mean, they were just very, very understanding, patient, very businesslike, and very happy to have me, and I was happy to be there. It was almost like being on an official visit, coming out of high school. It was like, man, I'm looking around, and we're right off the lake, and all the scenery was, it wasn't raining these last 2 days, which is a shock around here, but it was very nice.
You said you had a chance to talk with the coaches. Did you talk with the head coach, Pete Carroll, yet?
Yeah, he sat me down, yesterday, and let me know, the way he wants things while I'm here, and what they expect out of me, and he's happy to have me, and time to get to work.
At least in the media, he comes off as a very likable guy. I mean, does that translate at all, into his coaching persona? Is he, going to be easy to get along with, or?
I haven't known him, longer than about 24 hours now, but I can tell you just based off what I've seen and what I've heard from, the locker room. I mean, he's a straightforward guy. He's a hard-working guy. He's got tons of personality, but also you can just tell, he cares about his players. He cares about winning, and he just seems like a stand-up guy. So I'm really happy to be here working with him.
Now, here's the interesting part, Jay. I mean, there was a report out last week that you were actually fairly close, or at least, you had worked out for your old team, the Oakland Raiders, who, you reached an injury settlement with earlier in this year. I mean, how close were you to going back to Oakland?
I was very close, honestly. Mr. Davis called me personally and told me that he wanted to get me out here and get me working out so they can keep me close so we can get some things figured out. And I was fine with that. Came out, workout went fine. They had a lot of injuries pile up on them, and we just really couldn't find the right situation to be able to get it done in a timely manner. And then during the time we were trying to get that done, a couple other teams called, and then Seattle called, and it was like, well, that's pretty close by. Let's go check them out.
While we're on the topic of Val Davis, he's been out of the spotlight a lot recently. Some questions have arisen about his health. How did he sound to you on the phone?
I tell you what, he sounded healthy as a horse to me. He sounded very coherent, very very, very clear, and he sounded like himself. I mean, Al's always gonna have a special spot with me because he drafted me and gave me my first chance to play pro football, and I'm always gonna have a certain amount of loyalty to him for it because he really is a owner that loves his players. He really does love his players, and he loves the game, and I appreciate it about Al. But it's just one of those things where we couldn't really get something done in a timely fashion, so we had to make a move.
Now, you've, obviously been very loyal to the Oakland Raiders, and even after, you were no longer with the team. And, of course, this past Sunday, the Raiders just laid a shellacking on the Seahawks, 33-3. I mean, what is it like for you now being on the other side?
It's funny you say that because I got a lot of comments on Twitter about that game last week, and I was talking to some of the guys in the locker room, and they were just kind of like, yeah, we don't really know what happened. It's one of those games. But being on the other side of it, it's at first it felt really, just kind of different, a little awkward. Kind of like a fish out of water. I walked in there and I saw the navy and electric green or whatever the color is, and I was just kind of like, man, this is crazy. And they gave me some cleats and showed me to my locker, and these facilities are amazing. There's a big pretty locker with my name and that, my number on there, and I'm just like, wow, this is really, really different.
Speaking of locker rooms and numbers, what number are you going to be wearing out there, Jay?
I believe I'm officially number 99, like I was in college again. So, that's a little blast from the past for me.